Okay, we'll get started with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Muktam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yadkrupatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramanandamadavam Krishna Chaitanyam Ishwaram नमामो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टः प्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. We are in this chapter from Canto 2, Chapter 9, Answers by Citing the Lord's Version. So how did we get to this chapter? We see in chapter 8, Parikshit Maharaj had several questions. He asked so many different questions. And Shukadev Goswami is preparing himself to answer these questions through the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. Specifically, the second, third cantos, he focuses more on all these answers. So in this chapter, the beginning of itself, in the very first verse, Shukadev Goswami says that he begins to address the point of how the soul is different from the body, and this wrong identification with the body is like the relationship of a dreamer seeing his own body working. So basically, the soul is always transcendental. It cannot be affected by the modes of material nature. But then when it wrongly identifies with the body, it appears that the soul is suffering. So that's what he tries to explain. And he talks about how under illusion, living entities, they move through various forms that is awarded by the external energy of the Lord, and they identify with I and mine, ahankar and mamakar. So like this, he goes on transmigrating from one body to the other. And finally, there is one day when he becomes situated in his constitutional glory. That means at a point, he gives up his misconceptions of I and mine. And that is when he realizes that he is spirit soul and the servant of Krishna. So, Shukadev Goswami, he relates to the conversation that happened between Brahma and the Supreme Lord. Because Brahma was the very first living entity, and Brahma, through the process of bhakti, he did tapasya and he was able to understand that he was spirit soul and understand his actual goal. So, to relate to that story, he begins talking about how Brahma once performed penance in bhakti yoga, And the Supreme Lord became Sakshatkar. He appeared in front of Brahma because of his pure sadhana in bhakti. That is, he purely performed bhakti, and therefore the Lord became obliged to reveal himself. So he begins to tell the story that when Brahma was born, initially he was not able to trace out the source of his seat. He didn't understand who he was, and he didn't have any proper direction. But then, when he was thinking like that, what happened? He heard two syllables. What are the two syllables he heard? The pa. One is the 16th letter of the Sparsha alphabets, and the other is the 21st letter of the Sparsha alphabets. So when he heard tapa, he understood that he has to perform penance. Now, this tapa became the wealth of the people in the renounced order of life. So now that Brahma did tapa, he was able to follow the instructions of the Lord. He took it very, very seriously, and he underwent penances for a very long time. That is where we are. We have to do text number 8. How long he did these penances? That is what text number 8 is telling. Divyam sahasrabdamamogadarshano Jita nilatma vijito bhayendriya atpatya samakhila lokatapanam tapastapiyam stapanam samahita. Anyone would like to read translation?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Lord Brahma underwent penances for 1000 years by the calculations of the demigods. He heard this transcendental vibration from the sky and he accepted it as divine. Thus he controlled his mind and senses, and the penances he executed were a great lesson for the living entities. Thus he is known as the greatest of all ascetics.
Very
Hare
well.
Krishna.
So here it is mentioned Divyam Sahasrabdam. Divya means something that is not of this not of this earthly realm. So basically, Divyam here indicates that of the higher planetary systems. So for Sahasra Abdham, for thousands of years, without any without any cessation, our Brahma, he went on performing tapas. Tapas towards whom? Tapas towards the Supreme Lord, so that he could get darshan of Lord Amogha. Amogha means one who's spotless, right? So he wanted to get Amogha darshan. He wanted to see the Supreme Lord. And he used Ubaya Indra. Ubaya means two, right? So why does it say he controlled over his senses and he brought both the senses under control? Why does it say that when are there only two senses? No. The point is the senses are grouped as one category and the controller of the senses, which is mind, is grouped as another category. Therefore, here it is mentioned Ubaya Indriya. Ubaya means both, right? So, let's switch on the right. Yeah. Yeah. So, that which comes to in couple always in pairs, that is called as Ubaya. So when we talk about senses, we all know we have 5 karmendriyas and 5 jnanendriyas. And then the 11th one is the mind. But generally, the panchendriyas and the karmendriyas and the jnanendriyas, they are grouped together and they form one category. The second category is the mind. That's why if you see the translation, it is mentioned he controlled Vijitobhyendriyaha. What did he do? Vijita means to control or to conquer. Thus, he controlled both his mind and the senses. Though it is mentioned here too, we see it as mind and senses. And what did he do? He executed tapas. And this tapas that he executed, it became the lesson for all living entities. He was the first living entity And as he showed by example, we living entities, we follow. Yadyadacharati Shrestha. So he was the one who showed by example. Swayam Acharati iti Acharya. So he was the first Acharya and he showed us how to perform tapas. And to this day, everybody performs tapas following in the footsteps of Brahma. Okay. So let's see what Prabhupada has to say in the purport. Prabhupada says, Brahma, he heard the occult sound tapa. Occult. Occult means what? It's not very, meaning something you can't decipher easily, something strange that you're not aware of, right? That becomes occult. Occult sciences, they say. Very difficult to perceive. Such kind of sciences are called as occult. So what did he hear? Occult sound of tapa. But why is Prabhupada calling it occult? Because only the vibration is coming. He is not able to understand where this Akashvani is coming from. He's not finding the source of the person who's uttering the words tapa. But then when he heard this, he thought this is a great instruction because someone must have created me, and if there is a sound that is coming, it should come from that person only. And that person is trying to give me some instruction. So let me take that instruction. And he went on meditating. Now, there's a calculation given for celestial years. It says 16 into 30 into 12 into 1000 of 4 years of our years. Maybe it's a few billions. Okay. So for a very long time, Brahma was performing tapas. And because he performed tapas with a pure heart, what happened? He was able to see the Lord directly in front of him. So Prabhupada very clearly tells us, we should also accept divine instruction in the mood of Brahma. Brahma accepted divine instruction and he utilized it to the best of his capacity. And what happened as a result of it? He was able to see the Lord face to face. So similarly, we also receive so many divine instructions from our spiritual master. So it is very, very important to take these instructions very seriously and apply it in our lives. So when scriptures or spiritual masters are giving us instructions, we should understand it is the direct word of the Lord. Just like how Brahma heard the syllables tapa, it was a direct vibration from the lotus mouth of the Lord. Similarly, we are also actually given the direct vibration only. The Shastras are nothing but direct vibration of the Supreme Lord. And that too when the Shastras are spoken by a transcendently realized soul like our spiritual master, then it is all the more potent. So we should execute the direction without any hesitation. So we should execute these instructions without any hesitation. So this is how Brahma taught the entire world. Brahma, he executed the instruction of his spiritual master who is the Lord and he attained success. Similarly, we should attain success. But there is something very important Brahma did in this process. What did he do? He controlled both his senses. So which means we also, when we are trying to execute the order of our spiritual master in disciplic succession, there is one thing that we have to follow. What should we follow? We have to control our senses. So that is when you can actually do tapas. And the rules and regulations for us is kind of very easy compared to what Brahma had to do, right? He was a great tapasvi, but we are these insignificant jivas in the age of Kali. So Srila Prabhupada and our spiritual masters have made it like really easy for us. And with all the leverages they have given us, it is not very difficult to follow what they have instructed us. So by controlling our senses also to the capacity that we are asked to, and by following the regulative principle of chanting and other processes of devotional service as a tapas, we also can attain perfection and see the Lord face to face. So this is directly shown by the first living entity and our Param Guru, who's Brahma. He is the root of our Sampradaya. He showed this by example. So he's shown it by example. If you perform all this, you will definitely see the Lord face to face. So this verse, it gives us a lot of hope. So we have to do the bare minimum. It's not so difficult like what Brahma went through. For us, everything is given, served in a golden platter. So we just have to make use of this opportunity that is given to us, execute devotional service, controlling the little bit sense control that we are trying to do. And somehow or the other, by the mercy of the Lord, we will be able to see him face to face. The minute we think by my endeavor, I'm going to see the Lord, there itself we will fail. right? So we should always think. Yesterday also we discussed, not yesterday, in the previous class also we discussed about this. I think here only we discussed. Yeah, or maybe we discussed in Bhakti Shastri, I don't know. Yeah, yeah, basically we were talking about the analogy of the monkey and the cat. Yes, we have to put a little endeavor, but remember our endeavors are insignificant. It is insignificant compared to the mercy of the Lord. The Lord is so merciful. So little bit we do also, He showers His mercy, and it is only because of His mercy that we can attain perfection. So let's go on to the next verse. This is text number 9. What happened after that? After Brahma performed tapas for many years. Tasmai swalokam bhagavan sabhajita sandarshayamasa param nayat param vyapeta sanklesha vimoha sadavasam swadrishtavabdir purushairabhishtitum. Anyone for translation?
Hare Krishna Mataji. The personality of the Godhead, being thus very much satisfied with the penance of Lord Brahma, was pleased to manifest his personal abode, Vaikuntha, the supreme planet above all others. This transcendental abode and the Lord is adored by all self realized persons, freed from all kinds of miseries and fear of illusionary existence.
Very well. So the Lord first revealed His entire dham, the entire Vaikuntha dham. That is so beautiful, right? So the Lord, He's revealing His entire dham to Brahma. He's telling, actually, Brahma, you're sitting there in that material universe, you're sitting all alone. I've cast you into this Brahmanda so that you can further um, do a secondary creation and allow other living entities to take on a body and perform their karma and perform devotional service and finally come to me. But this is where I exist. So he's revealing his entire abode of Vaikuntha. And where is Vaikuntha? Vaikuntha is above everything else. It is beyond Brahma's planet, right? So it is manifested as Param, meaning it is beyond. Okay, it's beyond this material world. Param Padam, we say. The transcendental abode of the Lord is always admired by and adored by whom? By people who are eternal associates beyond the afflictions of illusion. Sada pashyanti surayaha. Tad Vishnoho paramam padam sada pashyanti surayaha. Purusha Sukta. So Rigveda says that in the spiritual world, the transcendentalists, they are continuously worshipping the Supreme Lord without a break. So they continuously get to see the Supreme Lord and worship Him. So that is the world that was revealed to Brahma. Look at Brahma's great fortune. Of course, he definitely deserves all the fortune. But we are also very fortunate actually, because through the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Vaikuntha is revealed to us. Through Brahma's experience, we can get a glimpse of what Vaikuntha could be, right? So Bhagavatam is very merciful. Bhagavatars are merciful. Bhagavatam is also very merciful. It's giving out all the secretive knowledge to us. Though we don't have direct perception, when we read it, we get a glimpse of what it can be. Right? So in the second canto, in this section, next few verses, we will just be relishing what Vaikuntha is. We'll just learn more about what really Vaikuntha is, what are the place, how the Lord looks, what is present in Vaikuntha, what kind of life is seen there, and so on. That is all we are going to do today. And later in the third canto also, we'll get a similar glimpse. There is a section that describes the beauty of Vaikuntha. So like this, the spiritual world, it is described in so many places. Especially the Bhagavatam gives very detailed descriptions of the spiritual world. What to talk of Bhagavatam, even Bhagavad Gita gives a detailed description, 15th chapter, right? Natadbhasayate suryona sashankona pavakaha. So 2-3 verses, Krishna gives out all the details about the spiritual world. So like that, in our scriptures, we have a lot of information. So let's see what happened to Brahma. Prabhupada says in the purport. The troubles of penance that Brahma accepted were in the line of bhakti. Main point. People, they can do penance in various ways. But how did Brahma do penance? Brahma did penance in the line of bhakti. Otherwise, why will the Lord show him Vaikuntha? Why will he show him Swalokam? The verse says he revealed Swalokam to him. Nijalokam, Swalokam, his own abode. See, Tasmai Swalokam Bhagavan Sabhajitaha. This Lord who was pleased with Brahma revealed his own abode. When will the Lord get pleased? So much so to show his details. This is how my house looks. Do you want to see how my house looks? I have this beautiful house. I live here. This is my bedroom. This is my kitchen. This is my living area. To whom do we show all this? Do we show this to someone who hardly knows us, to someone who's an acquaintance, someone who randomly called us, for some favor, or someone who we have met only once in our life? Do we do all that for these people? We won't do it. To whom will we do it? We'll do it to someone who's very close to us, right? Who really loves us, who's very concerned about us. Like, for example, when you move to the US and you probably purchase a house, then you'll do a video call to show your parents, okay, Amma, this is where I live, right? Or you invite your parents and they come and so on. So basically, you will do it for your parents, you will do it for your close relatives, you will do it for your loved ones, your very good friends. Why? Because they have a personal relationship with you. Similarly, Vaikuntha also is the abode of the Lord. If he wants to reveal Vaikuntha to someone, he will do it only if you have a personal relationship with him. So Brahma was qualified because he developed that personal relationship through the process of bhakti. Therefore, the Lord was very pleased and he revealed his real abode. Now, there are many people who think Vaikuntha is just a mythical place. They just think it's a state of existence, a state of consciousness. But maybe it is a state of consciousness, but the point is it really exists. The transcendental abode of the Lord really, really exists. And only through suitable penance in the process of bhakti can someone really see Vaikuntha as it is. Okay. Prabhupada says about the other methods of realization like jnana, dhyana, and so on. He says that is like trying to beat husks without grains and trying to see the grains in that. So there is no profit in such processes. But then if you do the same penances in the mood of bhakti, then there is full profit. You get to see the Lord face to face, his abode and everything else. So Brahma, he was very, very pleased to see the personal abode of the Lord. And this personal abode of the Lord, where is it situated? It is situated far beyond the Brahmaloka planet. Within this material world, which is the topmost planet, it is Brahma's abode, also called as Satyaloka. But beyond this is the Vaikuntha planet. And Vaikuntha is revealed in scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, and so many other places. Jiva Goswami has also given a full list of places where the spiritual world is revealed. What are the descriptions of the spiritual world? Now, in this verse, we see the usage of the word Swadrashtavabdihi. That means let's see what is the word-to-word meaning for Swadrashtavabdihi. So here, by those who have perfectly realized the self, only those who have perfectly realized the self in the mood of bhakti, they are the ones who are qualified to see the Lord. So the personality of Godhead and the personalities of devotees of the Lord are all transcendental and they do not have material bodies. So if we have to see something that is transcendental, be it the spiritual abode or the spiritual personalities in the spiritual abode, then what should we do? We have to be self-realized, meaning we should have attained perfection in the process of bhakti. We should be beyond the modes of material nature. We should be beyond this material identification of the body. So the material body, it is overcast with 5 kinds of miserable conditions. Learn this statement, okay, everybody? You may want to write it down. It might come for the test also, I'm not sure. But these are the 5 kinds of miserable conditions every material body has. Okay, what are the 5 miserable conditions? Ignorance, material conception, attachment, hatred, and absorption. We have to memorize this. The material body is overcast with 5 kinds of miserable conditions. Which are the 5 kinds of miserable conditions? First is ignorance. Second is material conception. Third is attachment, then is hatred, and then is absorption. So it'll be good if you can memorize this. Give me a second. I got suddenly very hot, so I need a fan. I'll just switch on the AC. Just give me some time. Okay, problems with the material body. So this material body is overcast with 5 kinds of miserable conditions, which is ignorance, material conception, attachment, hatred, absorption. Just memorize it. Okay. So as long as we are overwhelmed with these 5 kinds of material existence, then we don't have qualification of going to Vaikuntha. So unless we conquer these 5 problems of the material body, there is a very slim chance of us seeing Vaikuntha. But then how did Brahma see Vaikuntha? Because he went through the process of rigid bhakti. He followed tapas following the instructions of the Lord. And Prabhupada also warns that don't try to be an impersonalist. The impersonal conception of negating the self is useless. They want to negate the personal form of the Lord. They want to negate everything that has a form because they think it is to do with this material world. So they don't even believe that there is a spiritual world out there and the Lord has a form. So these are some misconceptions of the impersonalists, and Prabhupada strictly warns us against it. And to further strengthen the fact that Brahma really saw Vaikuntha, he also quotes this very famous verse from Brahma Samhita, which you all know: Chintamani Pragarasadma Shukalpa Vriksha Lakshavratesha Surabhira Vipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrama Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. The statement of the Bhagavad Gita is also there. Yad Gatvana Nivartante Tadhama Paramam Mama. There also he says, once you come here, you will never return. It's all there in 15th chapter. Very beautiful chapter that is. Everybody loves Purushottam Yoga, right? In Purushottam Mass, we say everybody wants to recite 15th chapter. 15th chapter is so loaded with so much positivity because Krishna talks about how this entire material world is a reflection. That's how he starts that chapter. That there is an imperishable banyan tree, right? Urdhva Moolamada Shakam. He starts off like that, and that imperishable banyan tree's reflection is actually the material world. We living entities, we are trying to eat the fruits in a reflection. Can you really eat the fruits that is reflected on top of water? There's no reality there, right? There's no real fruit. That is what we are doing. We're jumping from one branch to the other, from one species to the other, from the higher planetary system to the lower planetary systems, enjoying dharma, artha, kama, moksha, and so on. So this is what we are doing in this material world. But then he says, right after that, he says, and you identify so much with your body, you're just moving from one species to the other, ignorant of your original position. That is what you're doing, just jumping from one species to the other because of your different vasanas. But then he starts to reveal the spiritual world. He says, you come here to the spiritual world. This is very, very beautiful place. But once you come here, you will never want to return. And he gives a grand invitation for all of us. He presents when someone is giving an invitation, they should tell it in a very nice, beautiful, fancy way, right? Otherwise, why would you get attracted if someone is calling you home? They make a very beautiful invitation and then they say, please come home or whatever. This is going to be a great experience. So some sales pitch is needed, right? So that's what Krishna also does. He does a little sales pitch and he says, such a fantastic place. If you come here, you will never go back to that material world. And then he's a very loving God, and he goes on to say, even if you're stuck in this material world, don't worry. I come in various ways. I maintain you as the super soul. I maintain you through the Jataragni in your stomach. And I keep the sun and the moon in place. I keep the stars in place. Like that, I'm continuously looking out for you. And finally, he says, it's okay. Even if you're here, I'm continuously looking out for you. Finally, look at me and come back to me. And again, he continues to say about how the spiritual world is Dvavimau Purusha Loke Ksharas Chakshare Evacha Ksharaha Sarvani Bhutani Kutasto Akshara Muchyate. He says in the spiritual world, there are these Nitya Siddhas. Who are called aksharas. They are they don't fail. Whereas in the material world, it is all kshara. And then he says, beyond the two is Purushottama. So he says, come to the Purushottama. Such a beautiful chapter, right? So everywhere, even in Srimad Bhagavatam, this entire section, it is nothing but revealing the spiritual world. Again, in third canto, we'll go through this. So like that, again and again. And then the 10th canto is nothing but Goloka Vrindavan, right? Because Bhaum Vrindavan is non-different from Goloka Vrindavan. So everywhere Krishna is presenting this for us, somehow or the other trying to entice us that someday we will go to him. So that is our very most merciful Lord. So he's continuously revealed the spiritual world in many, many scriptures. So that's why Jiva Goswami and Srila Prabhupada, both of them are making a point here. When it's said that Vishnu revealed the Vaikuntha, we should really realize and accept the fact that Vishnu truly revealed his own abode. You should not think it's some imagination or it is some myth or Vaikuntha doesn't exist. Such thoughts should not come into one's mind. It is a real place. You should be 100% convinced of it. And that's what all the scriptures say. Okay, so now let's go on to verse number 10. Pravartate yatra rajastamastayo sattvam cha mishram na cha kala vikrama na yatra maya kimupa utapare hare ranuvarta yatra sura surachita. Anyone would like to read the translation here?
Hare Krishna Mataji. In that personal abode of the Lord, the material modes of ignorance and passion do not prevail, nor is there any of their influence in goodness. There is no predominance of the influence of time, so what to speak of the illusory external energy? It cannot enter that region. Without discrimination, both the demigods and the demons worship the Lord as devotees. Hare Krishna.
Right. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So it says Pravartate yatra Raja Tama Tayo Sattvam. Rajas and Tamas is not there in the spiritual world. Accepted. We all know Rajas and Tamas is not there in the spiritual world. He says Sattvam Cha Mishram. Sattvam Cha Mishram is also not there in the spiritual world. That means what? The mixed mode of goodness is not there in the spiritual world. Okay. But Shuddha Sattvam is there in the spiritual world. In this material world, the goodness you see is somewhat mixed with a tinge of passion and ignorance. But in the spiritual world, it is pure goodness. So there is no influence of passion, ignorance, or even goodness. Goodness, like the material goodness in the spiritual world. What else is not there? Nacha Kala Vikramaha. Vikramaha means influence. So Kala Vikrama means influence of time. Na yatra maya. There is no influence of illusory energy. Na yatra Kala Vikrama, na yatra maya, na yatra sattva rajasthama. So all these influences is not there in the spiritual world. Then what is there in the spiritual world? Without discrimination, both the demigods and the demons worship the Lord as devotees. Now, question to everybody. Why should we say without any discrimination, both demons and demigods are worshipping the Supreme Lord as devotees? What is the statement? Anybody has any thoughts? Why demons are mentioned?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Right, Prabhu. And then Salamani Mataji also, both of you.
Mataji, I think in Vaikuntha there is no, I mean, difference of opinion, and like
Mhm.
even if the demons get liberation, they will be promoted to Vaikuntha, so they will not also fight there.
Yes, correct. There is no
Maybe.
question of discrimination. This is what is mentioned. Very nice. Yes. Salamani Mataji.
Yeah, Mataji, I was also having the same thought, like all are part of the same Leela play. They're all the part of the same play. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Very beautiful. Yeah, correct, Mataji. Correct, Mataji. Correct, Prabhuji. Both of you are right. So there is no question of discrimination. Everybody is continuously worshipping the Lord. Okay. And also another point that is made by our acharyas in this translation is that both the demigods and the demons worship the spiritual world and the devotees in the spiritual world. Now, why would demigods have that? I mean, demons have that mentality. The reason is because in this material world, there is also in all these different influences, right? There's an influence of time, there is an influence of material modes. The demons want to be eternal, but it never happens that they become eternal. So they are also fancying after the spiritual world. Wow, what a life in the spiritual world. So they are also glorifying, oh, those eternal associates, they are eternal, really, they are eternal. Wow, that is interesting. Maybe we should also go there sometime. And of course, like both Mataji and Prabhuji said, once you have reached the spiritual world, there is no question of devotee or demon. Everybody is actually worshipping the Supreme Lord and the associates in the Supreme Abode. Okay, now Prabhupada's purport. The kingdom of God or the atmosphere of Vaikuntha is called Tripad Vibhuti. It is called Tripad Vibhuti. Material world is called Ekapad Vibhuti. We have seen this already. Recently only we saw this concept. So, the spiritual world is 3 times more than the material world. And the spiritual world is not just one spot. Okay, it has billions and billions of universes. Just like how this material world also has billions and billions of universes. The spiritual sky has so many Vaikuntha planets, and it is 3 times more than the what is there in this material world. And Prabhupada says this very interesting statement. He says, the spiritual sky also, beyond this sky, has spiritual planets under the name of Vaikuntha, and all of them constitute 3/4 of the entire creation of the Lord. God's creation is always innumerable. Even the leaves of a tree cannot be counted by a man, nor can the hairs on the head. Now, what to talk about counting the stars in the sky? What to talk of counting the number of grains of sand in the earth? Even the hair on our head we can't count unless you all have become bald by now. Then you can count. But that is only a unfortunate situation. But generally, the hairs on one's head, it is very difficult to count, right? So, but however, we foolish men, we are so puffed up with the idea that we have become God when we can't even count the hair on our head. And in case you're bald, the hair on your body, right? We have so many pores, and all these pores emanate little tiny filaments of hair, right? All the pores, say tiny hairs. So, can you really count the number of hairs on your body? Okay, some people could probably do it on their head if they have by now, but hair on the body, we cannot count. So, if at all, Prabhupada says, you might have reached to another planet in a spacecraft. You think you're very smart, you have gone to another other planets, but still, can you remain there? You cannot remain there. Therefore, a sane man, without being puffed up, as if he's the god of the universe, should abide to the instructions of the Vedic literature. That is the best way of acquiring knowledge. So, what is the best way of acquiring knowledge? Just listen to what the Shastras are telling us. The Shastras have done their research. The The great acharyas have finished everything. They have found out everything. All that we have to do is accept the authority. So we know through the authority of Srimad Bhagavatam what is there beyond this material world. And we know that in that spiritual world, these material qualities of passion, ignorance, and goodness is absent. Mixed goodness is absent. So that is the nature of the spiritual world. And this is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Brahmabhuta prasannatma na shochati na kamshati. If one comes to the Brahmabhuta platform, then all his lamentation is gone. That means if he has come to the point of self-realization and understood his relationship with God, then all these lamentations are gone. So the people in the Vaikuntha planet, they are all in the Brahmabhuta stage. They are all Brahmabhuta living entities. And for them, there is no question of hankering or lamentation. So there is no question of passion, ignorance, or goodness that is present in the material world in Vaikuntha. And Vaikuntha is full of Shuddha Sattva. It is of pure goodness only. So that is the nature of the spiritual world. But whatever is there here, it is only the illusory material nature. And Prabhupada, again, he talks a little bit about the Mayavad philosophy. He says, the rope accepted as a snake may be an illusion to a particular person, but the rope is a fact and the snake is a fact. The illusion of water on a hot desert may be an illusion to an ignorant animal searching for water in the desert, but the desert and water are actual facts. Therefore, the material creation of the Lord may be an illusion to the impersonalist, but for a devotee, the material creation of the Lord is a fact. It is his external energy. So generally in the Mayavadis, why Prabhupada is telling all this in this context is because Prabhupada wants to tell us that everything the Lord has created is real. As much as we are saying Vaikuntha is real, that it is a real place, and we quoted so many different scriptures that Vaikuntha really exists, don't think it's just a conception and so on. Similarly, our perception in this material world is an illusion, but the material world itself is not an illusion. Why Prabhupada is bringing that here is because this material world is also the energy of the Lord. Anything to do with the Lord is not an illusion. The Mayavadis, they speak about the rope and the snake analogy. They say when you are thinking that when you see a rope, sometimes because of a mistake, you might conceive the rope to be a snake, and you might suddenly get scared when you're walking in the dead night in a forest. Suddenly you see a rope. For a split second, you may think it's a snake and you get scared. So what really happened there? It was an illusion. It was a Brahma, meaning like getting illusioned. Because of illusion, you thought that the rope is a snake. So that is what this material world is. That is their explanation for the material world. This material world that you are in, it's actually an illusion. It's like a dream. Okay. Even in the previous verse, we saw it's a dream. But my perception is a dream. Okay. The material world itself is not a dream. So that's how the Vaishnavas and the Mayavadis, they differ in philosophy. He gives another example. He says the illusion of water in a hot desert, like when you see a mirage, an animal or even we living entities also, we might think it is a river and we start running towards it. But then that illusion, don't think that is all and all. Why did you think that the why did you think that you saw water in the desert? Because in the past you have a perception of water. In the past you have a perception of desert. So you were able to connect the two and it became an illusion in your perception. But actually they are factual. Water also exists, desert also exists. Similarly, Vaikuntha also exists. This material world also exists. Okay. So that is what Prabhupada is mentioning. And Prabhupada again continues to quote Narada Pancharatra and other places where Vaikuntha is explained in detail. Vaikuntha is also explained in Padma Purana Uttarakhanda that there's a very fantastic explanation in the Padma Purana of all details about Vaikuntha, about the Viraja river, and how you should cross the Viraja and you should reach the spiritual world. This Viraja river is flowing from the perspiration of the body of the Lord. And this Vaikuntha is everlasting, it is unlimited. He again quotes Sankhya Kaumudi, where the modes of material nature are not existent in Vaikuntha. And then he quotes different agamas and Puranas, and he says that in the spiritual world, the entire existence is unlimited. Okay, there is no end to the spiritual world. So basically, this is what we can conclude, that in the spiritual world, there is an absence of passion, ignorance, and goodness in the mixed state. There is no question of time, so there is no annihilation. There is no question of the influence of Maya. Okay, that means we will not perceive anything illusory. Everything is real there. Here also it's real, only our perception is wrong. Okay, so like this is the difference between the material world and the spiritual world. In the material world, the biggest problem is the 6 material changes, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, all these different transformation, all these different 6 transformations are existing in this material world. But whereas in the spiritual world, there is no question of 6 transformations. So there is only one leader. Who's that leader? He is the Supreme Lord, and everybody is subordinate to him. Everybody is subordinate to him, and everybody is controlled by that Lord. And all the needs of all the living entities, whatever need they may have, is automatically satisfied. So everybody is glorified and God. Okay. So that was this very beautiful verse number 10. This is the nature of the spiritual world. Now we have to see how the Lord looks. Very beautiful verse describing the beauty of the Lord. Shyama vadata shatapat Shyama, sorry. Shyama vadata shatapatra lochana pishanga vastra surucha supeshacha sarve chaturbahava unmishanmani praveka nishkabharana suvarchasa. Anyone for translation?
Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Yes, go ahead.
The inhabitants of the Vaikuntha planet are described as having a glowing sky bluish complexion. Their eyes resemble lotus flowers. Their dress is of yellowish color, and their bodily features are very attractive. They are just the age of growing youth. They all have 4 hands. They all are nicely decorated with pearl necklaces, with ornamental medallion, and they all appear to be effulgent. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, this is about the glory of the residents of Vaikuntha, right? Not just about the Lord, it is about the residents of Vaikuntha. I don't know, I'm reminded, I think many of you might have seen that there was a WhatsApp forward of one devotee who apparently saw the Vishnu Dutas. I don't know if you all read that. This verse reminded me of that WhatsApp forward. The inhabitants of Vaikuntha planet are described as having glowing bluish, sky bluish complexion, because that Mataji was not able to describe the exact blue that she saw. When she saw the Vaikuntha-vasis, she could not describe the exact blue color. They were showing her various blues, and she was, it's not like this, it's not like this, it's not like this. It was different. It was shining, it was resplendent. It was not like the ordinary blue or the sky that you see. It is different. So she was not able to explain that blue properly, right? So that's why even the verse here, it says, Shama avadhata shatapatra lochanaha. Avadhata Shama. Avadhata means glowing, and Shama is that sky bluish color, Shama color. So very beautiful. They are described as having glowing sky bluish complexion, not ordinary blue, not ordinary sky blue, not that bright blue that we see in Krishna cartoon. That itself is actually very attractive. So you can imagine how attractive this is going to be. It's going to be like a 3D shining blue complexion. Their eyes resemble lotus flower, Shatapatra Lochanaha, Shatapatra, meaning 1,000, 100 petaled lotus. Like that, beautiful lotus-like eyes. Their dresses, yellow color, Pishanga Vastraha, Pishanga is yellow. So yellow color Vastra. And their bodily features is very attractive. Surucha, very, very beautiful. Surucha, very attractive. And what is their age? They are very youthful. Supeshasaha, very, very youthful. They have 4 arms. Chatur Bhahavaha. Bhahavaha is arms. Multiple arms is Bhahavaha. So they have 4 arms. And they're nicely decorated with pearl necklace and ornaments. So Unmishan Mani, their money is pearls or gems, all these. So they're decorated nicely with superior quality pearls and nice ornamental medallions. They're wearing nice pendant chains and they're looking effulgent. This is the beauty of the citizens of Vaikuntha. So let's get to know more about it. Let's see what Prabhupada says. Prabhupada says, oh, we'll get to know more in the next verse also. Prabhupada made it short here, but we'll get to know more in the future verses. So Prabhupada says, the inhabitants in Vaikuntha Loka, they all have spiritual bodily features. And you will not see such bodily features in this material world. I remember once my Guru Maharaj was giving a lecture and somehow the topic went about beauty. What is real beauty? And he was saying so many things, but then suddenly he said at one point, he said, in India, we have so much, everyone is very color conscious, right? You're fair, you're dark, fair and lovely, all that craze is there. What else is there? Fair and lovely. I don't know, there's something else like that, some other, I forget, okay, whatever. So all these different creams are there and all these face washes that is going to make you very fair. So there is a craze of becoming fairer and fairer in India. And then you come to the West, Guru Maharaj was explaining how the Westerners, they want to get suntanned. They go and they sit in the hot sun and they're like, I want to get my body tanned. This is not good. I'm too fair. Right? So everybody is seeking something what they don't have and they want to look attractive. That's what they're trying to do. And they're thinking, this is not enough. I have to get more attractive. But he was mentioning real beauty is neither the fair skin nor the dark skin of this material world. Real beauty is bluish skin. Why bluish skin? Because that is the skin of Krishna. That is the skin of the inhabitants of the spiritual world. They have a resplendent bluish skin. Actually, we can never get bluish skin, right? We can only get different shades of brown. That's all we can do. Light brown, dark brown, fair brown, whatever. We can just get different shades of blue. But real beauty is bluish beauties. They are the ones who are most beautiful. So the Vaikuntha Loka, all the personalities with spiritual bodily features are not, such beauty is not seen in the material world. And where can we find the description of these people? We can see it in revealed scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam. Small things like even when you see, when you try to imagine Krishna, I'm just saying, imagine Krishna when when you're thinking of Krishna, you're seeing paintings, or you're seeing nice images of Krishna. Generally, the tendency is to desire to see him in a bluish color, right? If Krishna is painted in a brown skinned color, somehow he doesn't look so attractive. He looks like another person, that's all. But when he is painted in that bluish color, he looks like, oh, this is Krishna. Immediately our mind and our heart goes towards it. We get attracted to that form of Krishna. That is the eternal form of Krishna. So that is how the inhabitants in Vaikuntha Loka look like. And yeah, Prabhupada says, as there are different bodily features in different places of a particular planet, or as there are different bodily features between bodies in different planets, similarly, the bodily features of the inhabitants in Vaikuntha Loka are completely different from that of the material universe. For example, 4 hands. For example, 4 hands are distinct from the 2 hands of this world. Someone was telling me that long time back, there was an article in a paper. I don't know if it's true. I just heard this. This is hearsay. that God has some defect in his defective problem. That's why he has 4 hands or something like that. But here it is mentioned that is the hallmark of beauty there, right? It's the hallmark of beauty of having those beautiful 4 arms and then having bluish complexion and all that. That's very beautiful. It all comes down. We are so used to seeing things of this world, we cannot appreciate what is present in the higher planetary systems or even what is present in the spiritual world. So this is considered very beautiful. But of course, the most beautiful is Krishna's 2-armed form. Hands down, everyone will agree to that. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjun agrees. First, he says, I want to see your 4-armed form. After he sees the universal form, he says, okay, enough of this. Now I want to see your 4-armed form. And then finally, he says, now you come back to your original Saumya Rupa, the most pleasant and pleasing form, which is the 2-armed form. Actually, Krishna's beauty is topmost. That's why we say Krishna has 4 qualities more than Vishnu. In that, Rupa Madhuri is one. Right? So that is the most beautiful. That bluish colored skin with 2-armed is best beauty. But at the same time, this 4-armed form of the Lord is also very beautiful. And it is distinct from what you see in this material world. So it is something very unique, something very attractive. So let's continue to see what else, how else they look. Pravala Vaidhurya Mrinala Varchasa Parishpurat Kundala Mauli Malina. Some of them are effulgent like coral and diamonds in complexion. Some of them also have other colors. And they have garlands on their heads blooming like lotus flowers. And some they wear even earrings. So these are the inhabitants who have attained the liberation called as Sarupya or possessing features like that of the Lord. They all attain the 4-armed form. They have a bluish complexion, but it doesn't mean that only blue is there in the spiritual world. That is another misconception. Sometimes we think in the spiritual world, everybody is only bluish in color and everybody has only 4 arms. It's not like that. There are people of different colors as well. Like, for example, Lakshmi is not seen in blue, right? She's golden complexion. So like that, different people have different beautiful skin. And the Vaidurya diamond is especially meant for personality of Godhead. And who achieves the liberation of bodily equality with the Lord and is especially favored with diamonds on his body. If someone is especially having diamonds on his body there in the spiritual world, the Vaidurya gem, then it appears that he has achieved a liberation of Sarupya because he's almost on the level of, he's got the features of the Lord. Who attains Sarupya, you think in scripture? Gajendra attains Sarupya. Then we see even Aghasura actually, he attains Sarupya. Prabhupada writes in the purport, says he attains Sarupya. Then you see even I think Ajamil, right? He also goes to the spiritual world in 4-armed. So like that, so many people, I don't know, I could be wrong, but you all can say. So many people, they have attained Sarupya liberation. Sarupya liberation is like having a form similar to the Lord. Again, not everything is uniform. Okay, we should not imagine, though many people have attained Sarupya and blue is considered beautiful. All that we have accepted, but you should not imagine Vaikuntha is all uniform, like everybody has put on a uniform. You know, when you go to school, all of you wear the same uniform. It's not like that. There's a lot of variety even there. Brad Bhagavatamrita speaks about the experience of Gopakumar when he went to Vaikuntha. And there is detailed description of the different kinds of living entities in Vaikuntha there. It's beautiful. Actually, if at all you get your hands on Brad Bhagavatamrita, just directly jump to that section and read, since we are reading these verses that describe Vaikuntha. If you get your hands on that book today or tomorrow, whenever possible, just go to that section where Gopakumar goes to Vaikuntha and read about the associates there, how variegated they are. Some of them are even bugs, bugs like, bugs and bees and whatnot. So many kinds of living entities, varieties and varieties of living entities. Some have 3 eyes, some have multiple hands, some have many heads. It might look scary for us, But the more you read, the more you will appreciate how it is so variegated and why they have these different forms. All this is explained. So it's a very beautiful book to read. Please read that, and that will give more insights on what is present in the spiritual world. Okay, now text 13. ब्राजेष्णुवीर्या परितो विराजते लसद्विमाना बलिभिर्महात्मनां विद्योत्मनाः प्रमदोतमाद्युभिः स्वैद्योत् अभ्रवालीभिर्यथा नभः, sorry. 13, right? Yeah, anyone can read translation.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
The Venkuta planets are also surrounded by various airplanes, all glowing and brilliantly situated. These airplanes belong to the great Mahatmas or devotees of the Lord. The ladies are as beautiful as lightning because of their celestial complexions, and all this combined together appear just like the sky decorated with both clouds and lightnings. Hare Krishna.
So nice. So these wonderful devotees, they are traveling with their female counterparts, with their wives on Vaikuntha airplanes, and the entire sky, the Nabha sky, the beautiful sky, it appears like as if the sky is decorated with both clouds and lightning, because these women are bright like lightning. They have celestial complexions, just like Lakshmi. They are very beautiful, brilliant. Hiranyavarnam Harinim, right? Sri Stuti. So she's Hiranyavarna, Lakshmi. So she's like bright lightning. So like that, all the ladies who are traveling with these cloud-like complexioned eternal associates, they are also looking very, very beautiful. And what is happening there? They are traveling in airplanes. And here Prabhupada says they are not driven by machines like this material world. It is all by the will of the Lord. Anything can fly in any direction there. So this is the nature of the spiritual world. It is all spiritualized, spiritual energy everywhere. There are no imperfections of the material world in the spiritual world. So if they desire, it will start flying. That's all. That is the nature of the spiritual world. The verses continue. श्रीर्यत्र रूपिण्य उरुगाय पादयो करोति मानं बहुधा विभूतिभिः प्रेण्कं श्रुताया कुसुमाङ्कराणुगैर् विगीयमाना प्रियकर्म गायति. Anybody would like to read translation?
Hare Krishna Mataji. The goddess of fortune, in her transcendental form, is engaged in the loving service of the Lord's lotus feet. And being moved by the black bees, followers of spring, she is not only engaged in variegated pleasure, service to the Lord, along with her constant companions, but is also engaged in singing the glories of the Lord's activities. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so beautiful. So what is Shri doing there? Shri is goddess of fortune. Yatra, in that Vaikuntha, this beautiful Shri with a lovely Rupa, Shri Rupini, Urugaya Padayoho Karoti Manam. So what is she doing? She's offering her services to the lotus feet of Urugaya, who is the Supreme Lord. So she is pressing his lotus feet. And there are so many Kusumakara Anugaihi, mean follower of flowers. Kusumaka is flower. Who follows the flowers? It is bees. Okay, very poetic. So there are so many black bees, and these black bees are also singing nice songs. So the black bees and Mother Lakshmi, they are all singing nice songs about the Lord's activities, and they are engaged in the service of the Lord. So this is what is happening there. And again, in the third canto, you'll see how when Lord Vishnu comes out with a beautiful Vaijayanti Mala, there are bees that are continuously humming and trying to suck the nectar out of those flowers. He's surrounded by bees. So the bees don't sting in the spiritual world. They add to the beauty of the spiritual world. And because of their humming, they give a good competition to the other birds. So many birds sing, right? You have cuckoos and koyal, whatever. There are so many singing birds. So these bees, they are continuously doing the sound, which could be irritating for us in this material world, but then it is very, very pleasing in the spiritual world because these bees are continuously singing the glories of the Lord along with Goddess Lakshmi. So you can imagine all this in your meditation and imagine how the spiritual world will be. So let's continue and see what more is there in the spiritual world. Okay, this is what Brahma is going to see. So let's see. Dadasha tatra kila satvatam pati shriyapatim yajnapatim jagatpatim sunandananda prabalarhanadibi swapashadagrai parisevitam vibhum. Translation, anyone?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Go ahead.
Lord Brahma saw in the Vaikuntha planet the personality of Godhead, who is the Lord of the entire devotee community, the Lord of the goddess of fortune, the Lord of all sacrifices, and the Lord of the universe, and who is served by the foremost servitors like Nanda Sunanda, Prabala, and Arhana, his immediate associates. Thank you.
Jai. Thank you. So the Lord is described in various ways in this verse. It says, Akila Satvatam Pati, he is the Lord of the great devotees. Shriyapati, he is the Lord of the goddess of fortune. Yajnapati, he is the Lord of the sacrifice. Jagatpati, he is the Lord of the universe. So this is what Brahma saw. This Brahma basically saw the Supreme Lord, who's the Lord of everything. And he's not alone. He's surrounded by his confidential associates. Some of the associates' name in Vaikuntha are mentioned. So Nanda, Nanda, Prabhala, Arhana. So these are the Swaparshada. Parshad means what? Associates, right? Sangha, Upasanga, Parshada. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, the verses Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam. Parshad means what? Hari Parshad Prabhu, we say, right? Many people, they call him Hari Prasad Prabhu. It's not Prasad, it's Parshad. Parshad means associates. Swaparshad. Swaparshad Agri Parisevitam Vibhum. So all these Parshads, all these associates, they are doing what? Parisevitam. They are serving the Lord in transcendental love. So this Lord who's present there, Akilapati, Jagatpati, Lokapati, he's not all alone. He's surrounded by many of his associates. Now we see the name of these associates in other places also, like when Dhruva Maharaj went home back to Godhead. At that time, right, an airplane came to take him, and some Vaikuntha associates had come. These associates had actually come. Nanda Sunanda had come to pick him up. And they are the ones who show that, look, your mother is coming in another airplane. They are the ones. So they are very close associates of the Lord. So the Lord will send them. So next time when some very dear devotee is, in the verge of going back home, back to Godhead, probably these associates will come. They will come. We may not be able to see them, but these associates may come to pick them up. Lord is very personal. That's the beauty. Lord is very, very personal. So he will send us close associates for the pickup. He won't send some random, okay, you're jobless, you go and pick him up and come. It's not like that. He'll send his close associates, immediate associates for the pickup. So here, purport. When we speak of a king, it is naturally understood that the king is accompanied by his confidential associates. Just like you have the secretary, private secretary, IDD camp, ministers, advisors, and so on. So similarly, the Supreme Lord, he is the leader of all living entities and he's the Lord of all opulences. So he's always surrounded by his intimate associates who perform service unto him. So this is the vision of Brahma. Brahma is seeing all this. Okay, keep this in mind. Then what else happened? Let's see what else is happening there. भृत्यप्रसादाभिमुखं दृगासवं प्रसन्नहासारुणलोचनानं किरीटिनं कुण्डलिनं चतुर्भुजं पीतांशुकं वाक्षसि लक्षितं श्रिया. Yeah, translation anyone?
Hare Krishna.
Go
The
ahead.
personality of Godhead, seen leaning favorably towards his loving servitors, his very sight, intoxicating and attractive, appeared to be very much satisfied. He had a smiling face decorated with an enchanting reddish hue. He was dressed in yellow robes and wore earrings and a helmet on his head. He had 4 hands, and his chest was marked with the lines of the goddess of fortune.
So sweet, right? So the introduction in this verse is he has got so much affection to his Bhrityas. Bhritya means servitor. So Bhritya Prasada Abhimukam. Abhimukam means uh, uh, facing towards, okay, that is Abhimukam pretty much, or being favorable, or being partial, or giving some extra love. Paranmukha means looking away, okay. So when the Lord is not pleased, he becomes Paranmukha. When the Lord is very pleased with you, he's Abhimukha. He's looking at you with affection. So the Lord is continuously seen leaning favorably towards his devotees. And the Drik Asavam. Asavam means an intoxicant, right? So his sight itself is very intoxicating. And he has got an intoxicating look. That means he's very happy. He's always smiling, hasa, a beautiful smile. And his eyes are Aruna Lochana. Aruna means that reddish. When you have the sunrise, there is a tinge of reddish color that permeates the sky. That is called as Aruna. Aruna is also the charioteer of the sun god. That color, that reddish hue is Arun. So that Aruna Lochana, very, very beautiful eyes, that is reddish corners. And he has a beautiful face, very pleasing. He wears a kirita, which is a crown. He wears kundala, shark-like earrings, we read, right? Earrings, chaturbhujam. Chaturbhujam means 4 hands. Pitavasa, obviously he's wearing yellow garments. Pita amshukam, here it is mentioned, instead of vasa, amshukam. Vakshasi lakshitam shriya. The vakshasthala, the chest is marked with the Srivatsa mark, the mark of Sri. Vatsata Lakshitam Shriya. So this is the beauty of the Lord. And purport is interesting. I want to read the purport and also show you details. Okay, I'll screen share and show you the details also. So here, I will read the purport. All this we should relish. We should really see what is there in the spiritual world through the eyes of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'll read the purport and then I'll show you pictures. In the Padma Purana, Uttarakanda, there is a full description of the Yoga Pita, or the particular place where the Lord is an audience to his eternal devotees. Yoga Pita is a throne where he is sitting. In that Yoga Pita, the personifications of religion, knowledge, opulence, and renunciation are all seated at the lotus feet of the Lord. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, all these 4 are personified and they are sitting at the lotus feet of the Lord. Okay, the Purusharthas are sitting where? At the lotus feet of the Lord. Where is the Lord seated? The Lord is seated in his Yoga Pita on his throne, and he is not alone there. The 4 Purusharthas are at the lotus feet surrounding him. What else is present? The 4 Vedas, Rig, Sama, Yajur, and Atharva Vedas are present there personally to advise the Lord. Why does Lord need advice? Yeah, that was a question that was asked by some devotees. He doesn't need advice. He just the job of the Vedas is to give instructions, right? But the Vedas themselves, they are coming from the breathing of the Lord. But the Vedas are continuously glorifying the Lord. They are stutis. They are singing stutis for the Lord. His 16 energies, headed by Chanda, are all present there. Chanda and Kumuda are the first two doorkeepers. At the middle, doorkeepers named Bhadra and Subhadra. The last door are Jaya Vijaya. The other doorkeepers are Kumuda, Kumudaksha, Pundarika, Vamana, Shankukarna, Sarvanetra, Sumukha, etc. The Lord's place is well decorated and protected by the above mentioned doorkeepers. We are going to see all of this in a picture, okay? So, but we'll finish this also, this verse, then only we can see the whole thing. So what has been described in the previous verse, we see Yoga Pita, basically his throne. Obviously, he is going to sit there with his consorts. And then at his feet, you find the four Purusharthas, you will find the four Vedas, and also his different energies surrounding him. And there are doorkeepers in different directions. The names of all the doorkeepers, we think only Jaya Vijaya are the doorkeepers. There are so many doorkeepers, okay? Jaya Vijaya is one pair of doorkeepers, that's all. But there are other doorkeepers also. And all their names are given here in this verse. What else is seen? Text number 17. अद्यर्हणीयासनमास्थितं परं वृतं चतुषोडश पञ्चशक्तिभिः युक्तं भगैस्वैर् इतरत्र चाध्रुवै स्व एव धामं रममाणमीश्वरम्. The Lord was seated on his throne and was surrounded by different energies like the 4, the 16, and the 5, and the 6 natural opulences, along with other insignificant energies of their temporary character. But he was factually the Supreme Lord, enjoying in his abode. So what are all these? Let's see what Prabhupada says, what each one of these is. The Lord is naturally endowed with how many opulences? 6 opulences, Bhagavan, right? He is the richest, he is the most powerful, he is the most famous, he is the most beautiful, and full knowledge and renunciation. Okay. And for creative energies, he is served by 4 energies. What are the 4 energies? Prakriti, Purusha, Mahatattva, and Ahankara. Then he is also served by 16 elements. Namely, the 5 elements, earth, water, air, fire, and ether. The 5 receptive organs, the eye, ear, nose, tongue, and skin. The 5 working senses, the hand, legs, stomach, evacuation outlet, and genitals. And finally, the mind. The 5 includes these sense objects, namely form, taste, smell, sound, and touch. All these 25 items serve the Lord in the material creation, and all of them are personally present to serve the Lord. The insignificant opulences numbering 8 are the Ashtamahasiddhis, that is attained by the yogis for temporary overlordship. They are also under his control. But he's naturally full with all these prowess without any effort, because obviously he's the Supreme Lord. So this verse, it talks about how he's surrounded by 4. So Chatuhu is 4. What are the Chatu? It is Prakriti, Purusha, Mahat, Ego. Shodasha is 16. The 16 that we saw, the different elements. And then what is Pancha? Pancha Shakti B, the Pancha Shaktis, and his Bhagas. Bhaga is what? Bhaga, Bhagavan opulences, 6 opulences. So like that, different numbers are given here. What are the numbers that is given? They were surrounded by his 4, 16, 5, and 6. So all these are surrounding him. These are the 4, 16, 5, and 6. So this is how the Lord looks. And of course, Prabhupada, he mentions in the purport that we living entities, we are nowhere near the Lord. And great yogis, they might go to the point of attaining Ashtamahasiddhis, but that doesn't make them the Lord. The Lord is complete in all his different opulences. And what happened? Brahma got very ecstatic seeing this. But before we see the ecstasy of Brahma, I will just give you, I wanted to stop at verse 18. Let me read verse 18, then I'll show you Vaikuntha. Okay. Show you means what? I'll just show a chart, that's all. I can't show anything further. But we'll read verse number 18. We'll stop and then I'll show you that. तद्दर्शनाह्लाद परिप्लूतनार्ततो हृष्यत्तनु प्रेम बराशुलोचन ननाम पदाम्बुजमस्य विश्वस्रे यत्पारमहंस्येन पथाधिगम्यते. Anyone for translation?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes,
Anyone?
yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Lord Brahma, thus seeing the personality of Godhead in his fullness, was overwhelmed with joy within his heart, and thus in full transcendental love and ecstasy, his eyes filled with tears of love. He thus bowed down before the Lord. This is the way of highest perfection for the living being, Paramahamsa. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Beautiful. Thank you, Prabhu. So his eyes were filled with tears. He was overwhelmed. Imagine you're seeing Vaikuntha just like that. You're getting pakka darshan, full darshan of the spiritual world. So Harshayat, fully ecstasy. Tanu Prema Bhara, his entire body was showing transcendent and loving symptoms. He had Ashrulochana, tears in his eyes. He bowed down, Nanama, again and again he bowed down to what? To the lotus feet of the Lord, Padambucham. And he was seeing this Vishwasrik, the creator of the universe, and he was completely in bliss. Okay, this is the nature of Paramahamsas. They're able to see the Lord face to face. So here, Prabhupada in the purport, he says, in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is already mentioned that this Bhagavatam is meant for Paramahamsas, right? So it's a very special scripture. Nirmatsaranam satam. It is for people who don't have any matsara in their heart. Right? Srimad Bhagavatam begins like that. So Srimad Bhaggavatam is for people who are free from malice. Only if we are free from malice, we can really get the darshan of the Lord. So, and the Srimad Bhagavatam is so special that it is revealing everything to us. It is revealing the spiritual world to us. We are very fortunate. We are getting all this information. But then we should surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead if we also want to achieve the same benefit as Brahma. Yes, the Lord is very merciful. He is giving us a spark of the vision. But if we really want to see the same vision as Brahma, then we have to surrender unto him. But however, in this material world, Prabhupada, he feels very bad for the people here. Because of our malicious nature, we are not able to come to the platform of Paramahamsa. But however, if we take up to Bhakti Yoga, then there is success. We can see the Vaikuntha Loka face to face through this process of Bhakti Yoga if we are following in the footsteps of Lord Brahma. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came in this age of Kali so that he can save all of us. We have received the two great scriptures, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us that we should hear discourses and we should chant the holy names. But when we hear discourses, we just don't hear from professional men. We should reach out to a bona fide spiritual master. And that bona fide spiritual master will show us the path followed by the Paramahamsas, the Paramahamsa Panta. So again, Bhagavatam, Brahma, when he prays to the Supreme Lord, later when he makes an offense and he offers beautiful prayers to Sri Krishna, that time Brahma says, my dear Lord Krishna, a devotee who abandons the path of empirical speculation aimed at merging the existence of the Supreme and engages himself in hearing your glories and activities from a bona fide sadhu or a saint, and who lives an honest life in occupational engagement of a social life, can conquer your sympathy and mercy even though you are Ajita. Ajita means what? Unconquerable. Jita means to be conquered. Ajita means one who cannot be conquered. So even Ajita becomes Jita if we are able to live a good life, give up this empirical philosophical speculation, engage in bhakti by hearing the glories of the Lord, and in whatever occupational engagement we are, if we are living with sympathy and mercy and honesty, then we will also tread in the path of Paramahamsas just like Brahma. That way we can achieve success in life. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll see this beautiful explanation of Vaikuntha. So we stopped at 18. I'll mark that and then we can continue from verse 19. Brahma is in ecstasy now. He has seen the Supreme Lord. Now he's going to quickly get a handshake from the Lord. And then he's going to hear the Chatushloki Bhagavatam. That is the crux of this chapter. Okay. That will happen on Thursday when you all join. So here, this is what we described today. So you see, this is the Yoga Pita, the center. You see Narayana is there here. Control. Let's do that. Zoom. Why can't I zoom further? Maybe this is the max. Huh? No, this is the max. Okay. So you see the center. You see this is the Yoga Pita. Yoga Pita, you have Lakshmi Narayana who's sitting on the throne. And if you see, we already saw that Dharma, Jnana, Vairagya, Aishwarya, all of these. Actually, I said Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. It's actually Dharma, Jnana, Vairagya, Aishwarya. That's how the verse says. It doesn't say Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. It says Dharma, Jnana, Aishwarya, Vairagya. These are the four that is at the lotus feet of the Lord. They are situated right there. And you have his energies, not only Shri, but also Bhu and Neela Devi. They are also present right here. You have Ananta, who's his eternal associate. And there is Garuda, there is Vishwaksena, and okay, Garuda and Vishwaksena is present here. So you see all these associates of the Lord are present very close by. Here you have the different Shaktis of the Lord: Kriya, Yoga, Prahuvi, Satya, Ishana, Vimala, Utkarshini, and Jnana. These are the different Shaktis that is mentioned, that is serving the Lord. So this is how the Lord is situated. This is the center portion surrounded by his eternal associates and the different Shaktis of the Lord, where everything is at his lotus feet, and even the Vedas also, the four Vedas are also serving him right here at his lotus feet. That is not shown here, but we should imagine it's there. Then we saw the different gatekeepers, right? So let's go through all the gatekeepers. We can start from the northern direction. In the north, you have Sumukha, Dhata, Vidata. They are taking care of the northern direction. Then there is Supratishtha. This is what? This is northeast. Then you have Chanda, Kumuda, Prachanda in the eastern direction. Southeast, you have Kumudaksha. Then in the south, you have Bhadra, Subhadra, and Pundarika. And then in the southwest, you have Vamana. They are all gatekeepers, okay? They are all taking care of Vaikuntha. And then in the west, you have Jaya Vijaya. Generally, we talk about this gate. We talk about, oh, Jaya Vijaya was stopped. That's what we will read in the third canto. Jaya Vijaya stopped four Kumaras. They were entering through this gate. So Jaya Vijaya, Shankukarna. These are the personalities that is there in this direction. And finally, we have Sarvanetra. So these are the different gatekeepers in different directions. And this is the central world. And then we saw all the immediate associates. We saw how he's surrounded by Shaktis. And then you have the first Chaturvyuha, Vasudeva, Shankarsana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha with their respective consorts. So all their respective consorts are present here. For Vasudeva, it is Lakshmi. For Sankarsana, it is Saraswati. For Pradyumna, it is Rati. And for Aniruddha, it is Kanti. So these are the associates who are present, the first Chaturvyuha. Then you go through the 12 different forms, 24 different four-armed forms of the Lord. These are all Vaikuntha planets, you can imagine. These are the 24 different forms of the four-armed forms of the Lord. So their names are mentioned here. Then you have the famous 10, that sometimes also called as the Dashavatars, because they have a position in the spiritual world. They're situated like this. That's why they're often glorified. So you can see the Dashavatars starting with Matsya. So you have Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Varaha, Nrsimha, Vamana, Parashurama, all of them, Krishna, Rama, Buddha, Kalki, all of them there. Then you also have many other associates who are the prototype demigods. Later from here, they're all actually eternal associates of the Lord, but based on them, the demigods in the material world are created. Like you have the spiritual world, Ganesha, you have like that. There are so many different associates who are present here. Then you will see that all the Vedas, see the Vedas are present here. Actually, in that verse, it was described that the Vedas are at the lotus feet, but they are also present in this particular covering. All the four Vedas are present. Then you have the different Ayudas of the Lord, like the Shankha Chakra Gada, the Sharanga, all these different Ayudhas have personal forms. They are also present there. And then, of course, you have the guardians of the different directions, like Agni and Niritti, Ishana, Vayu, Kuvera. All these are different guardians, right? Even in the material world, you have the same format in different the different directions, the guardians of the different directions, they're all present there, even in the spiritual world. And it's pretty much, see, that is the original model. Based on that, the material world is created. So when you see demigods in the material world, you should understand there is some prototype present in the spiritual world who's an eternal associate in Vaikuntha. Similarly, in the northeastern direction, you have Ishana, and this is actually the Sadashiva Loka. And from here, this northeast corner, from here, the material world emanates. So you should imagine Karanodakshay Vishnu somewhere sleeping here. And from here, in the northeast section, you have the material world that emanates. But for chart sake, they have put it down because you can't show something jutting out from the northeast direction. So for the sake of the chart, you can imagine Ishana comes here, and that is the Sadashiv Loka. And the lower portion is called as Mahakala Dham, which is also the impersonal, Brahma Jyoti and all that. And then you have creation happening with Mahavishnu glancing at Ramadevi. There's a dim halo that comes from the glance of Mahavishnu, who becomes Shambhu, who touches Maya. And then you have this material creation. So this is how we are existing. And where are we? We are somewhere here in this Bhumandala. There are so many planets. And in that one little planet, in one little country, in one little city, in one little house, we are here like a tiny, tiny atomic speck. That is where we are. And we are reading in Srimad Bhagavatam about this spiritual world, which is beyond Brahma's abode. Brahma's abode is where? Brahma's abode is here. He's sitting on the lotus and he's visualizing the whole thing. He's able to see everything that is here. This is what has happened in this chapter so far. He's saying every single thing that you see right here in this picture. Okay, we'll end here. Any questions, thoughts, comments, realizations, corrections, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So those Ananta in the chart, Ananta, and all those are energies of Vishnu.
No, they are associates.
And the alphabets written represents what?
The Gayatri Mantra. Gayatri is present. Yeah, the Gayatri Mantra is the thing that takes you there, right? So it's present there. And Maha Mantra flows through the entire spiritual world. Yeah.
Thank you.
You have the Maha Mantra and the Gayatri. Yeah, that is the Shatkona Yantra, which has the mantras. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Very well.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danat Pranam. Mataji, I'm sorry, I didn't see no hand raise. Mataji, one question. So here, Brahma is able to see the Vaikuntha planet of the Lord. And Brahma is also the leader of our Sampradaya, which focuses on going back home to Goloka Vrindavan Dham.
So, Mataji, our Sampradaya, fine. That is like we belong to the we belong to the Madhva Sampradaya and we get connected to Brahma, right? Through Madhavendra. Madhavendra Puri is the Kalpavriksha under which Radha Krishna stand in the spiritual world. That is Goloka Vrindavan. So, let's go back to the chart. So if you go to this chart, let's go to Goloka Vrindavan. Goloka Vrindavan, again, Shatkona Yantra. This mantra, second initiates no. Okay. You see this Kalpa Vriksha that is here, where Radha Krishna is standing.
Yes.
That is Madhavendrapuri. So actually we're connected through Madhavendrapuri, and Madhavendrapuri took initiation in Madhva Samrita. It's like that. Okay. But ultimately, it is only a matter of worshipable Lord. Everything is Vaikuntha only, everything is spiritual world. But in the section of Goloka Vrindavan, the rasas are more complete because our Lord is Krishna and he's Rasaraj, and it is more complete. The exchanges with Krishna is more complete, right? That's what Bhagavatamrita teaches in the case of Gopakumar. So depending on your constitutional position, you will attain the loka that you are meant to attain. But everything is spiritual. Okay.
And also, when in the Brahma Samhita, when Lord Brahma is glorifying the spiritual world, that is Goloka Vrindavan.
Yeah, that is Goloka. In the Bhagavatam, he is glorifying Vaikuntha. In this one, he's in the Brahma Samhita, he had direct vision of Goloka Vrindavan, and he hears the Gayatri from which takes you to Goloka.
Thank you, Mother.
Thank you. Yeah, and I've heard different opinions about this, but I don't have a direct reference. I've heard it from Maharajas that, you should just think, some may question, oh, this Brahma seems to be in one rasa, that Brahma seems to be in another rasa. So it just could be different Brahmas or Brahma's experience in different kalpas also it could be. That part is not 100% clear. We don't know correctly, but different people have different opinions about it. Maybe it's a different Brahma, or maybe it's the same Brahma. He's evolved because he's had different experiences, and his experience today is like this. You can think like that. Yeah. Or I've heard Maharajas say even it could be a different Brahma. We don't know.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you. I have one small, quick clarification question. So Mataji, Dhruva Maharaj was taken to the Vaikuntha Loka by Nanda and Sunanda. So, was that this Vaikuntha Loka?
Yeah.
Because he goes and resides in his planet, right? The Dhruva.
Yeah, good point. So basically, what this Vaikuntha's extension is that Dhruva Loka and near Shirodakashayi Vishnu's location, right? It's an extension of the spiritual world only. So many people, they go to this section of Vaikuntha, which is there within this material world, and they take darshan of the Lord. It's not like they cross through all the coverings and they go to that abode. Many people, they just see the Lord here, but this is as good as that. Just like Brahma Vrindavan is as good as Goloka Vrindavan. Right? Same concept. But when they go to Shirodakashayi Vishnu and they go to some people get entrance, some people don't. But those who get entrance, they also go, it's same, ditto. It is like a satellite center. Okay. And we hear this analogy of when you go to the consulate, I think you must have heard this many times, Prabhupada's analogy, and many Maharajas also give the same analogy. When you go to a consulate, everything in that consulate is the objects that is seen from that country. Like if you go to the American consulate in Chennai or anywhere in India where there is a consulate, you'll see that they have the same water bottles that is all American brand and things like that. So it is like a satellite center there. But it is representing that entire country, right? So like that, we have these different extensions of the spiritual world within this material world. Okay.
And just like the people in those consulates, they belong back in America, they would be able to easily gain entrance back. Same way.
Correct. Same way. Yes.
Okay.
100% correct.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji.
Sadamni Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much for this beautiful class. I had 3 thoughts to share, and please correct me if I'm wrong. So regarding this Yogapit purport only. So immediately when I heard Yogapit, I remembered the Yogapit in
Chaitanya Mayapur, yeah.
Mahaprabhu. Yeah, I got this understanding that Yogapit is the center of the whole, no, Mataji, the lotus, and it is the concentric circles. We call it mandal in Sanskrit.
Mm.
So that's why that's why we call it Gaur mandal or Braja mandal, because they are like concentric circles.
Yes, mandala. Yeah, mandala it's actually like a yantra, right? Like it's a, you know what it, mandala yantras, all of these. They're like geometric patterns to make it very simple, to sound simple. Yeah, and they are empowered by a mantra. So a yantra that is empowered by a mantra is very powerful. That has the power of the mantra, that yantra. So like that, this is the yoga pit. Very nice. Yes, mandala. Go ahead. Mandala is a pattern. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So here in Mayapur also, this yoga pit is also where Mahaprabhu resides, and all devotees are coming, demigods, they're all coming. So is it correct, Mataji? Same.
Beautiful. Such a nice thing you said. Yes, exactly. Yes. Thank you for your very sweet and deep realizations. Very lovely.
Second thing, Mataji, same purport, where it was mentioned that the Vedas, they advise the Lord. So I was, is it correct? Like the Vedas, the duty, their duty is to advise, show light to the to others, and Lord is giving them chance even to advise him, because I heard in Purana Prabhuji's class that Lord never interferes with the autonomy of his subordinates. Whatever power.
Yes.
So is it correct?
Exactly, 100%. Why? The same thing happens in Krishna Leela. When Krishna has a doubt, as if Krishna will have a doubt, but then he puts himself in a situation where he's having a doubt and he's taking advice from Uddhava. He's taking advice from Uddhava saying, should I kill Jarasandha and go to the Rajasuya Yagna, or should I go to the Rajasuya Yagna and kill Jarasandha? When he's taking advice from Uddhava, he's sincerely taking advice from Uddhava. Very sincere. He's genuinely taking advice. He really means it when he's asking for advice. So he gives that thing for his devotees. He gives that service for his devotees to advise. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. Nice. So nicely you
It's very
shared it.
Yeah, it's very learning point for me also, Mataji, because sometimes we give some job to do. Suppose I am giving my daughter, you can do this, and later when she is doing, I start interfering. No, you should not do this. You should. So after hearing this, I thought that if I have given her to do something, I should let her do it, not
Right.
interfere and every time. No, you should be perfect. You should do like me. Let her do it in her own way, and then when she comes back to me, I can show her. So I got this.
So beautiful. Yes,
And
wonderful.
thank you, Mataji. And the last thing, Mataji, it was in part 9 that you told us to memorize 5 kinds of miserable conditions. So ignorance, material conception, attachment, hatred, and absorption. So I was thinking, Mataji, like from ignorance comes material conception. Then when we have material conception, then it leads to attachment and
hatred.
from attachment, hatred, I don't know how. But when attachment is more, then we are absorbed in it. So is it like one by one it comes?
Yes, you're right. They are all connected. One leads to the other. You're right.
One
Yes.
another. Okay.
Just like Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha, Sammohat Smriti Vibrama, like that. Similar chain. Yes, it's a chain process. Yes.
Chain process. Thank you.
Beautiful. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, and you inspired all of us. Thank you. Anything else, anybody? Yes, Namarasa Chaitanya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you for the wonderful lecture. Yes, Mataji, I just want to ask whether you can share me the chat. Is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
For sure. I'll send it right away, otherwise I'll forget. Okay. Anything else, anyone? Okay, so then if there is nothing else, we can end the call and we'll meet you all on Thursday from verse number 19. Vancha kalpatarubhischa kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vranda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.